Good thing about the lake house is within a mile from my house, plenty of back roads that are dirt roads can get out and ride on. I'm trying to practice some, before I do some trail riding, get used to this bike a little bit more. Might see some deer out here. That's one thing out here about Central Georgia. Gotta be on the lookout for them because they're everywhere. So this is a 2022 Adventure model. I got it from a guy that had bought it and got it for 392 miles on it. He had intentionally planned on going to Alaska and through Canada and back to Maine, and his wife said no after she found out it was going to be too much long. He also had a sweet DR650, so he had two bikes that he didn't need one of them. And he parted ways with the KLR, and I was lucky enough to find it, and it was one of those deals. It was too good to be true. Honestly, I sort of thought it was going to be a Craigslist scam until I talked to the guy and everything, and went up and picked it up. It was funny because when I pulled in the driveway, I already had a trailer behind my pickup, and he's like, "Pretty optimistic, are you?" And I said, "Well, if it's got 392 miles on it and it hasn't been wrecked, it's going home with me." And it did. My game plan is to leave the lower engine guard bars that came stock with it on, and all the research I've been doing, everybody said go with the T-Rex because they fit on perfect up top and you don't have to modify anything or take the bottom engine guards off. So I want to end up putting T-Rex on here shortly, and that's going to be my first mod I do, besides getting some. So adjusted the windscreen this weekend, moved it to its highest setting. I can definitely tell, but just by looks, that it's a lot higher. And what I'm hoping is it deflects the wind over my helmet, because coming down here, what I sort of noticed was it was deflecting the wind right about chest level, which was pushing air up underneath my helmet, which was making for actually quite a noisy ride. So when I get on the highway here and get up to speeds, I should know pretty quick if it's made any kind of difference or not. Hopefully so. Okay, we're going to stop and go ahead and fuel up for the ride home. I'm showing right at a half a tank on this thing. So this will be my first chance to see what the true highway miles are, because I did all back country road riding down here. Nothing crazy. So should get a true reading. Okay, there it is. 2.8 gallons. So far I've done 148, so I just rounded off to 149 miles. 53.2 miles to a gallon. Just cruising easy on the back roads, not too shabby. Disaster averted. That was almost an epic screw up. Didn't get off the bike and didn't stow my wallet back in my back pocket. Got down the road, for some reason just felt my wallet wasn't there. So spun around and got through the gears on this thing pretty quickly for the first time. Came back and thank goodness there was my wallet laying right next to the pump where I filled up. Note to self, dummy, you're not in the car. Make sure you put your wallet in your back pocket. One of the things that I also noticed when I was coming down to the lake, I was doing a lot of highway riding between 60 to 70 mile an hour. I was catching a lot of wind off of the front windscreen, where it was coming probably about 6 inches or so below my helmet, and that was deflecting the wind up in my helmet. And I mean, there were times where it was actually moving my head like I was a bobblehead doll from the wind coming up in the helmet. So this weekend, it's a quick 5-minute thing. Take 4 bolts out the windscreen, and then I moved the windscreen to the highest setting put the windscreen bracket back on, and I rode it home, and it was a huge difference. Even as windy as it was, I was riding the same speeds. The helmet wasn't as noisy as it was before. Granted, most of my riding has been on pavement, so just got to do a little bit of dirt around the lake place, probably total about 5 miles of dirt. And it's definitely a different ride on this machine. Like I said, my background is riding crotch rockets my whole life, and it's been, I don't know, I guess 9 years since I've actually owned a motorcycle, so sort of new learning experience again. Not so much on the road, because I put a ton of miles on different, crotch rockets and used to race them on the road, but the dirt's going to be a little bit of a learning factor as far as the handling, airing down tires, and everything else like that. So, but so far I have no complaints on the ride.